Hello, hello, shalom. This is Diaspora Ground Truth. My name is Naomi, and in this video, we're going to talk about 12 skills, essential skills, that is needed in a community. And we actually have 3 bonuses, so wait until the end. Okay, so the first skill, right, when we think about skills in a community, there's various things that are needed. And this list is going to be a general but fairly broad list of the skills that are needed, essential skills, required, have to have in a community setting. First thing that's needed, housing. So what skill comes with needing homes built? Construction, right? Construction. We also need carpenters. Right? We got the construction workers, they're building the frames, they're building the walls, the roofs. And then we have the carpenters who come in and they do the interior designs, right? So both are needed. That's skill number 1. We need homes to put on the land. We need homes built. Okay, what's the second one? You guessed it, food. We need food, okay? So how do we produce food? Through farming. Okay? We need people who know how to grow food, farmers, gardeners, all the like, okay? There's people who know how to put a seed in the ground and make it grow. And then there's people who know how to test soil and how to do permaculture and, you know, what plants do well in this area, what plants do well in this, and which plants need more nitrogen, which plants need more phosphorus. We need all of those skills, okay? We need all of those skills. What's the next skill? What's the next thing that we need in a community on land? Livestock, right? We need livestock, okay? Not every community needs meat, but there are communities that would like to produce meat, and they like to produce their own meat. And with cows, you can get milk and change that into cheese, and goats, you can get milk and change that into cheese. And so there's various things that come along with having livestock. You know, chicken poop is good fertilizer. Animals are necessary for well-rounded production and farming. So with livestock, husbandry would be great, right? Husbandry. People who are skilled in husbandry. They know how to raise, they know how to maintain, they know how to butcher animals. Okay? So the next one, what do we have on the list? Number 4 is clothing, right? Clothes. We need clothes. All right. So, of course, people who know how to sew, right? Seamstresses and the like. You may not be a seamstress. Like me, I'm not a seamstress. But I know how to sew. I know how to get a needle and thread and to put cloth together, right? So if you have any of those skills, that's fantastic because it's necessary. Right? So we need sewers, right? Hand sewers, machine sewers, all of it is good. You get a tear. I have a jacket that I've had for like 4 years now. It's got 2 holes in it. I just need to go get me some needle and thread, and I'm able to sew those holes that I have and have that jacket last me much longer. Sewing is necessary. Absolutely necessary. We produce our own clothes. We can stop going out there into the world and buying the other nation's clothes. No, we produce our own clothes. We dress the way that we want to dress. We dress the way we represent, the way we want to represent our nation, right? Yasharala. So sewers is very, very much needed. Make our own clothes. Next on the list. Well, how about understanding herbs, right, for medicine, right? Plants, what do they do? What are their compounds? How do they heal? How do they remove ailments, right? Herbs, understanding the benefit of herbs. What are their properties? That is so needed in the community. So, what type of person would that be? That would be a herbologist, right? Herbologist. Herbologist. We need a herbologist, okay? And listen, we got great grandmas and great grandmas out there who are never went to school for herbology, right? But they know what each of these plants do. They've worked with them. They've utilized them. They've grown them, and they grind them up and they use them, and they see what their benefits are. But herbology is really important because if you have studied herbs, then you know which ones are good and which ones are not good, because there's poisonous herbs as well, right? So that's a necessary skill. What else do we have? Well, another one is good, right? Furniture, right? We need things to sit on. Furniture. We need things to sit on, to eat at, right? To sleep on. So when it comes to furniture, what type of skill is needed? Well, woodworking. 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 People who know how to craft furniture. Once again, we're thinking of how we are living outside of the system. We're living amongst ourselves. We can cut down a tree, shave up the bark, right? Trim up, make the legs for the table, make the top, nail it in, boom, there you have a table. Somebody who knows how to do woodworking. If we have a machine, then cool, but other than that, you get a machete and you make it happen. But if you know how to craft furniture, that can be a beneficial skill in a community setting. Okay? The next one we have is food preservation. My handwriting is sloppy, guys. I'm sorry. I have to work on it. I'm writing from this way, which is like kind of weird. I prefer to write like this, but yeah, move on. Food preservation. Okay. How do we preserve food? People who have knowledge in preserving food is necessary and beneficial. Okay. So we're talking about people who know how to can food, canning, right? Canning food, right? Getting food and pressurizing it and sealing it off so that you can eat it 5 years later and it's still good, right? It hasn't gone rancid. It hasn't, dried out, what have you. It hasn't rotted. Food preservation. Then also curing, right? Knowing how to cure meats so that they last longer, like your beef jerkies and stuff like that. These things are able to keep our food going for much longer for us, especially when you're growing food on land. There's an abundance of food, the Most High gives the increase. You start to plant, and all of a sudden you had this one seed, and you get thousands of seeds out of that one seed, right? That's the beauty of the Most High, the abundance that the Most High has given us. So you have to know what to do with those foods if you have an over production. You have too much. Yeah, you give it away, but once you give it away, if you still have more, what are you going to do with it? You're going to preserve it so that you can continue to eat it later on down the line. So food preservation is a big one. Okay, what else do we have on the list? We also have, of course, solar, right? Solar. We need lights. We need lights. We need to be able to see at night. We need to be able to see in the dark. We need to be able to, charge stuff, to operate certain things that need electricity, okay? And so an electrician who knows how to do solar, right? An electrician is needed. Electricians, we need you. Really beneficial skill. What else do we have? Well, we have also, we need soaps, right? We need to make sure we keep our hygiene up. So we need soaps. We need lotions or creams, right? Keep our body moist and, hydrated. We also need hair oils because, our people, we need to make sure our scalp doesn't dry out. Hair food, all the good things, the rosemaries, the tea trees, we need those things, the honey, we need all those things for our scalp, right? So what type of person would that be? What type of skill? That would be like skin formulator. Skin formulator. Skincare formulator. That would be a skincare formulator. Okay, so what else do we have? Number 10. What else do we have? Well, people, let's say they get cuts. Let's say, they even break a bone. Break the bone in their finger or something. These are things that we need first aid for, right? We need someone who knows first aid. What about babies being born, right? Women are still going to be getting pregnant. Babies are still going to be coming into the earth. So we need midwives or doulas, right? These are very important things to have. So we have first aid, midwifery. All right, these are things that we're going to need. What type of skills is that? These are people that are skilled or knowledge in nursing, right? We need nurses. Okay? Very much needed. Let's see, what else do we have? Number 11, we have people who know how to barter. People who know how to barter. People who know how to negotiate. People who know how to network. Okay? What type of person is that? Somebody who has good communication skills. Somebody who knows how to speak to other people, right? Someone who knows how to speak to other people. Not everybody has that skill of being able to negotiate or barter. It is a skill. You can't just go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm going to give you this, give me that. No, that's not really how that works. And so having someone or people that are really good with communication skills, and, conflict resolution, right? Conflict resolution's a big one because we're in a community of people and there's going to be some butting heads about some things. It's a given. There's going to be some disagreements. And if you don't know how to agree to disagree, if you don't know how to resolve conflict, it just keeps growing. And then before you know it, there's like something, this thing's just blown out of proportion off of this maybe small thing. Or it might have been a big thing, but because you didn't resolve it, it keeps showing up in small ways. So there's things that have to be worked out, have to be resolved. And yeah, there's certain things that might happen that, you have a hard time getting over, but you have to work through those things in a community setting because the people aren't going away. You know what I mean? Like who we're around is who we're going to be around. So you have to know how to resolve things and to keep the peace, right? So these are 11 skills. We have one more to go, right? And then 3 bonuses, as I said. And so number 12 is education. Okay? We obviously are still going to continue to learn. We're going to be learning more than ever in a community setting. We are going to need people that know how to teach. Okay? We need teachers. Right? Now, this is an overall list of essential skills that are needed in a community, right? These are things that people may not think about as much, but they're also a big deal. So when it comes to being on the land, some people think, okay, I get the land, I build the house, I grow the food, right? But a lot of land actually needs to be cleared first before you can do anything on it, right? It needs to be cleared. Basically, when it comes to land, you can totally change the what do you want to call? What is it called? What is it called? You can totally change the topography of the land, right? With someone who, let's say, land clearing, okay? You can totally change the topography of the land with someone who is a heavy equipment operator. Heavy equipment operator. Heavy equipment operator. Right? Somebody who knows how to use a D9, use tractors, use excavators. We need those type of people. Those people are actually extremely important because you can't do much on the land if you don't have it cleared. If you don't have all the trees and the bushes and the shrubs and you can dig wells and stuff. You can dig sewage holes, for your sewage. All types of things can be done with heavy equipment operators, okay? So they are also very much essential. That skill is very much needed in a community. So what's number 2 bonus skill that some people really don't think that much about? Well, that would be cooks, right? Cooks. We need people who know how to cook food well, right? Culinary chefs. We need the chefs. All right? We know we got the food growing, we got the meat, right? We got the animals going. Now we need someone to take that food, take the seasonings from the herbs that we grow on the land, and know how to make broths and stews and sauces, and know how to cook animal meat well, the different temperatures. I mean, there's all sorts of things that come along with culinary work because it's like a science, putting certain foods together and it creates something else. And so that is also really essential because eating good food really lifts your morale, okay? It really boosts your morale. So it's beneficial when you have somebody in the community or people in the community that know what to do when it comes to food, making it taste exquisite, delicious, right? What is the last bonus skill that some people may not think about when it comes to a community setting? Well, we do need entertainment, right? Entertainment's good. Entertainment. We need entertainment, okay? We need entertainment. So what does that look like? I mean, wouldn't it be great if we had some musicians on the land, right? Some musicians, right? People who know how to play the guitar, know how to play the drums, know how to play the keyboard, know how to play the ukulele, know how to play the harmonica, know how to play the violin. I mean, you can go on and on and on. The trumpet, right? Musicians, fantastic. People who know how to sing, right? That's big in our community. We have people, we know how to play music, we know how to sing, right? So musicians are really beneficial, right? When we talk about morale and all of these things, super good, right? We know people who know how to make movies, right? Movie makers, movie producers, right? People who know how to film certain things and create a whole story out of it. And, we can play that with our solar. We have solar so we can watch movies on the big screen, what have you. Movie producers is really good, right? What else? We also have comedians, right? Comedians. People who know how to tell good jokes, right? Know how to make you laugh. These are all things that we need in a community, okay? Don't discount these ones because they're big, especially the heavy equipment operator, right? We need all of those skills. When we think about coming together as a people, these are the things that are going to be required. So if you are not skilled in any of these, then now's the time to prepare. Now's the time to wrap your head around these things and start to activate, start to move, because it's only a matter of time until we all have to come together and work together and live together. And these skills will help us to be able to build and to grow and to maintain and to live in wellness, right? If we have only one person that knows how to do construction, that's a lot of responsibility, and it's a big weight on that person, because now this person has to be in 50 million different places at once. They have to, be telling this person how to do this while watching this other person put the nail in there and thinking about the measurements and everything all at the same time, and it's too much. So it's best if we start to obtain these skills, start to wrap our minds around them, because the time is going to come, and it's coming quite quickly, where we're going to need to be in a community and we're going to need to help each other. And these skills are going to be absolutely necessary. So that's all I have for today. If you want to reach out to me and talk more about community development, you're welcome to contact me at diasporagt@gmail.com, diasporagt@gmail.com. Love to speak to you more about that. Also, if there is any skills that I missed or left out here, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I know that there's other things that I probably didn't think of, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Shalom.